After 30 years around horses, there are 5 breeds I would never bring home again, no matter how lovely they look or how good the price sounds. Most people buy with their heart and pay for it for years. My name is Linda Hargrove, and I've spent 30 years of early mornings around these animals. If you want the lessons that save you heartbreak before the vet bill ever does, take a moment and subscribe, because that's exactly what I share here every week. A couple of these 5 are going to surprise you, and number 1 is the one I warn people about most. So let's get into it. Let's start with number 5, and I'll be honest with you, this one breaks my heart a little every time, because these are some of the most generous, big-hearted horses you will ever meet. I'm talking about the off-track thoroughbred, the retired racehorse. You'll find them everywhere, and often for next to nothing, sometimes even given away for free. And that price tag right there is exactly how they get you. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you're standing at that stall, looking into those big, kind, trusting eyes. A horse that was bred and built to run flat out at 30-some miles an hour is not a horse that was built to stand quiet in a field. Everything about them is wound tight. They were raised on a strict schedule, fed rich grain twice a day, worked hard by professionals, and taught to go, go, go from the time they were barely 2 years old. And all of that does not simply switch off because you trailered him home to your peaceful little farm. The first problem is what we call being a hard keeper. Most thoroughbreds burn through feed like a wood stove burns through kindling. You can pour groceries into one of these horses all winter long and still walk out one cold morning and count every rib. Their stomachs are sensitive too. A huge number of them come straight off the track with ulcers, and treating ulcers is not cheap, not by a long shot. You're looking at special feed, daily supplements, and repeat vet visits month after month after month just to keep weight on a horse that somebody handed you for nothing. Then there's the retraining, and this is the part that catches good people out. A racehorse has been taught the exact opposite of everything you want in a calm pleasure horse. Leaning into the bit means run faster. Pressure from your leg means run faster. A tight rein in a crowd means it's time to go. It takes a patient, experienced pair of hands and often a full year or more of steady, quiet work to teach that horse an entirely new language. And if you rush it, or you simply don't have those skills yet, you end up with a nervous, confused animal and a person who is completely in over their head. And I haven't even gotten to the soundness yet. Racing is brutally hard on a young body, on legs and joints and tendons that are still growing. A lot of these horses come off the track with old injuries, with wear and tear that will follow them the rest of their days. And those problems have a way of surfacing years later, long after you've fallen in love. So you can add farrier bills, joint supplements, and the occasional lameness workup onto everything else. It stacks up fast. I have watched kind, good-hearted people take one of these on precisely because the price was right and they wanted to rescue him. And I love that spirit. I truly do. But love does not pay the feed bill. Love does not heal the ulcers, and love does not put a year of careful training into a horse that was taught to run. If you are an experienced rider with real time, a real budget, and a deep well of patience, an off-track thoroughbred can absolutely become the horse of your lifetime. I've seen it happen, and it's a beautiful thing. But for most folks buying their first or their second horse, it is far, far more than they bargained for. And that is exactly why it earns the number 5 spot on my list. Now, before I get to number 4, and this next one is truly going to surprise a lot of you, let me stop and say one quick thing. Quick word before we move on. 40 years around horses teaches you more than fits in any one video. So I finally wrote it all down, start to finish, in a book. The feeding, the buying, the things I check before I trust anyone's opinion. Links pinned at the top of the comments. That's the long version, everything laid out plain, no hunting through videos for it, take it or leave it. Now, back to the horses. Number 4 is the one people argue with me about the most, right up until the day they finally own one themselves. The Shetland pony. And I already know exactly what you're thinking. Linda, it's a pony. It's tiny. It's about the most adorable thing on 4 legs. How much trouble could it possibly be? Well, friend, you'd better sit down for this one, because I have some news for you. That little pony is one of the smartest, most stubborn, most food-driven animals you will ever have the pleasure of dealing with. Pound for pound, a Shetland is stronger than most full-sized horses standing in the barn. They were bred on the harsh, windswept islands up north to haul heavy loads and to survive on almost nothing but scrub and stubbornness, and every bit of that toughness is still bred right into them today. What that means for you, standing in your paddock, is a pony that has already figured out every single trick in the book. how to pop open a gate latch with its lip, how to plant all 4 feet and turn to solid stone, how to gently duck a child right off its back and stroll off to help itself to the good grass. And that brings me straight to the health side, which is honestly the part that costs you the most. A Shetland is what we call an easy keeper. And let me tell you, that is not the compliment it sounds like. These ponies get fat on air itself. Turn one out on nice green spring pasture, and you are on a straight road to laminitis, which is a painful, sometimes crippling condition down in the feet, and it is one of the most expensive and heartbreaking things you will ever have to manage. So now you're rationing grass by the hour, buckling on a grazing muzzle, building a dry lot, and standing there watching every single bite that pony takes like a hawk. I'll tell you a quick story. Years back, a family down the road bought the cutest little Shetland you ever saw for their 2 young girls. Within a month, that pony had learned to lift the gate latch, let itself out every night, and go straight for the feed room door. It had learned that if it dropped its shoulder just so, the smaller girl would slide right off, and it could graze in peace. Nobody had spoiled it on purpose. It was just smarter than everybody in that family put together, and it ran the whole show until they finally called somebody in to help. That is a Shetland for you. But here's where the real trouble sneaks in on people. Folks buy a Shetland for a small child, thinking small horse simply must mean safe horse. And I understand the logic. But a spoiled, pushy, untrained little pony is one of the finest ways I know to get a child hurt and scared of horses for the rest of their life. A pony needs every bit as much training and firm, consistent, fair handling as a big horse does. Arguably, it needs more, precisely because it is so clever and so quick to learn the wrong lessons. I would put a beginner child up on a calm, older, well-trained, full-sized horse over a green, cheeky Shetland any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Now hear me, a good Shetland, properly brought up by somebody who knows what they're doing, is an absolute treasure and worth its weight in gold. But that cheap, cute little pony coming through the sale ring with no history, that, my friend, is how number 4 earns its place. Number 3 is going to hurt a little, because this is the one nearly everybody secretly dreams about owning. The Friesian, that gorgeous, jet-black, thick-maned horse that looks like it stepped straight out of a fairy tale or off a movie screen. And in fact, every single time one shows up in a film, my messages fill right up with people asking me how they can get one of their own. And I understand it completely, I do, because they are absolutely breathtaking to look at. But I would not bring one home, and here is the honest, plain reason why. The Friesian breed came very, very close to dying out entirely, more than once in its history, and each time it was rebuilt from just a tiny handful of surviving horses. And here's the thing about that. When you narrow an entire breed down to that few animals, you concentrate all the problems right along with all the beauty. Friesians today carry a long, sobering list of genetic and health issues that most people have absolutely no idea about while they're standing there admiring that shining black coat. They are prone to serious digestive troubles. Some of them carry a condition where the food pipe stretches out and simply stops working the way it should. They suffer a much higher rate of a certain sudden, deadly artery rupture than nearly any other breed. Dwarfism and water on the brain still turn up in newborn foals to this day. And on top of all of that, those beautiful feathered legs and that lovely thick skin are prone to nasty, chronic skin conditions down in the feathers that you will find yourself fighting for the entire rest of that horse's life. And here is the part that truly breaks my heart to tell you. On average, a Friesian simply does not live as long as most other breeds do. A great many horses will give you 25, even 30 good years if you take care of them. A lot of Friesians are gone well before that. So think about what actually happens. You pay a premium price up front because these are genuinely expensive horses to buy in the first place. You fall completely, hopelessly in love. You pour real money into their upkeep, their grooming, their endless vet care. And you may well get far fewer years in return than you would have from a plain old grade horse you found down the road for a fraction of the cost. And I haven't even mentioned the upkeep. All that glorious hair is not free. That thick mane and tail and those heavy feathers need constant, careful attention, or they mat, tangle, and grow the very skin infections I just told you about. These are not turn them out and forget them horses. They demand your time, day in and day out, on top of your money. Now, I am not for 1 second saying they aren't magnificent animals. They truly are. But in my long experience, magnificent and heartbreak so often ride along together, and that is exactly why the Friesian sits at number 3. Number 2 might genuinely surprise you, especially if you happen to love a flashy, eye-catching coat. And believe me, I understand the appeal completely, because those spotted patterns really are just beautiful to look at. I'm talking about the Appaloosa. Now, plenty of Appaloosas out there live long, sound, wonderful, healthy lives, and I want to be very fair and honest about that right up front. But there is one specific, serious reason this particular breed lands on my never again list, and it all comes down to their eyes. Appaloosas carry the highest rate of a painful eye disease called equine recurrent uveitis, and a lot of us old-timers still call it by its old name, moon blindness. It is a deep inflammation inside the eye that flares up again and again and again over the years, and each and every flare does just a little more permanent damage until a great many of these horses go partly or even completely blind. It is genuinely painful for the horse, it is endlessly frustrating to try to manage, and it can run you an absolute fortune in vet visits, special medications, and specialist eye care stretched out over the years. There is also a separate night blindness condition tied right to that same beautiful spotted coloring, where the horse simply cannot see well at all in low light, and it's been that way from the day it was born. Just imagine leading your horse in from the field at dusk and slowly realizing he honestly cannot see where he is placing his own feet on the ground. That one fact changes absolutely everything about how you have to keep, house, and handle that animal for its whole life. And managing a horse that can't see well is a whole education all by itself. You keep everything in the same place. You talk to him constantly so he always knows exactly where you are. You never move a wheelbarrow or a jump standard into a spot he's used to walking clean through. A partially blind horse can be spooky and unpredictable through no fault of its own, and that is a genuine safety concern for you, for your family, and for anybody who handles that animal. It is a lifelong job, and it is one most people never once signed up for. Now hear me plain on this, because I don't want all the good Appaloosa folks coming after me with pitchforks. There are plenty of healthy Appaloosas out there with perfectly good, sound eyes, and if you buy from a careful, honest breeder who actively watches for and breeds away from this, you improve your odds a very great deal. But when somebody tells me they found a real cheap Appaloosa at the sale, no history, no papers, no questions, and they're buying it purely for those pretty spots, well, my stomach drops a little every time. Because the ones most likely to carry these eye troubles are so often the exact same ones changing hands cheap with nobody asking a single question. And that, my friends, is why the Appaloosa is my number 2. And that brings us all the way up to number 1. The breed I warn people about more than any other single one, and I already know, the one that is going to earn me the most mail, the Arabian. It is the oldest breed on the whole earth, and one of the most beautiful animals ever to draw breath. That delicate dished face, that high flag tail, that unmistakable fire in the eye, people fall head over heels in an instant. And that right there is precisely the whole problem, because the Arabian is the ultimate buy-with-your-heart horse there ever was. Here is the honest truth about the Arabian, the truth you need to hear before you fall in love. They are brilliant. They may very well be the single smartest horses I have worked with in all my 30 years. And a smart, deeply sensitive, hot-blooded horse is a magnificent, once-in-a-lifetime partner in the right hands, and a genuine handful of trouble in the wrong ones. An Arabian notices absolutely everything. A plastic bag caught in a fence 2 fields over, a small change in your mood the second you walk up, a tiny flicker of hesitation in your hands on the reins. They feel every bit of it, and they react to it. They were bred for thousands of years to be alert, tough, and reactive, to carry desert people across hard and dangerous country, and to survive where softer horses would not. That deep wiring does not just disappear because you brought him home to a quiet little hobby farm. What that means in your real, everyday life is a horse that absolutely must have an experienced, calm, confident, and above all, consistent handler. If you get nervous, they get nervous instantly. If you are the least bit inconsistent, they will outthink you every single time and start quietly making all their own decisions. I have watched so many timid, well-meaning, first-time owners buy a stunning Arabian purely because they fell in love with that face. And within a single year, the two of them are genuinely frightened of one another. The horse isn't bad. The person surely isn't bad. It was just a terrible match from the start. And truthfully, it was a terrible match the very day the money ever changed hands. I remember a woman who came to me years ago, near tears, ready to give up horses entirely. She'd bought a beautiful young Arabian gelding, and every ride had turned into a battle she was losing. But when I watched them together, the horse wasn't being bad at all. He was reading her fear like a book and mirroring it right back, twice as big. We slowed everything down. We spent weeks just standing quietly together, building trust before she ever asked him for a single thing under saddle. And that same horse she'd nearly sold for scrap became the steadiest, most devoted partner she ever had. But that only happened because she got real help in time. Most people don't. Most people just sell the horse and blame the breed, and the cycle rolls on to the next unlucky owner. They're also sensitive in the body, not just the mind. Sensitive skin, sensitive stomachs, and very easy to overcondition if you're not careful. But it is the mind that gets people every time. Because an Arabian in the right hands, with a patient, experienced person who truly understands that fire and learns to work with it instead of fighting against it, becomes one of the most loyal, brave, connected, and downright magical horses you could ever dream of standing beside. But in the wrong hands, it is simply heartbreak on four legs. And because most people go and buy exactly the way I warned you about at the very start of this, with their heart based entirely on that gorgeous dished face, the Arabian is, without a single doubt in my mind, my number one. So there they all are. The 5 breeds I would never, ever bring home again after 30 long years of early mornings and hard-won lessons. The off-track thoroughbred, the little Shetland pony, the fairy tale Friesian, the spotted Appaloosa, and sitting right there at the very top of the list, the beautiful Arabian. And I want you to notice what nearly every last one of them has in common. It is not that they are bad horses. There is truly no such thing as a bad breed. Not one. It's that these are the horses people buy with their heart. For the free price, for the pretty spots, for that flowing black mane, for that delicate dished face, and then they pay for that choice with years of trouble, expense, and heartbreak they never once saw coming. And I want to be very clear about something, because I know some of you own these breeds and love them dearly. I am not telling you your horse is a bad horse. I am telling you what 30 years has taught me about which horses tend to end up in trouble, sold on and passed around when the wrong person buys them for the wrong reasons. The very traits that make each of these breeds a poor match for a beginner are often the exact same traits that make them extraordinary for the right, experienced person. That is the whole point. Match the horse to the hands. If there is one single thing I hope you carry away from an old horsewoman today, let it be this. Buy the horse standing in front of you, not the pretty picture living in your head. Buy the temperament, buy the training, and buy the soundness. Do not buy the color, and please do not buy the bargain. The right plain brown horse will give you 20 happy, healthy years of partnership. The wrong beautiful one will break your heart and empty your wallet right along with it. Now, I would truly love to hear from every one of you on this. Do you happen to own one of these very breeds and love it to absolute pieces? Then you go right ahead and tell me I'm wrong down in the comments. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know which breed you've got and what part of the country you're writing to me from. And if there's a breed you feel in your bones belongs on this list that I somehow left clean off, you put that down for me too. And whatever you drive home in that trailer someday, I truly hope it is a horse that keeps you safe and gives you good years, because that is exactly the kind of conversation I most hope to have with you here. There is no shame in loving a breed and still admitting it isn't the right one for where you are today. The best horse people I know are the ones honest enough to say, not yet, not this one, not for me. Take good care of those horses of yours, and I will see you again in the very next one.